Hey guys, it's Tony from Tony Talks Cards. I'm back at you with another video here. Welcome to Wednesday, midweek. Hope your week is going well. Those of you who've been with me for a while, all 20 plus my videos in here. Now, I've done a little bit of a series going back through my older vintage football card sets I collected back in the 80s. I've done a video on 78, 79 Topps football, 80 and 81 Topps football, and of course, numerically, what comes next is 1982 Topps football. So, looking forward to showing you a couple of cards, some key rookies, some cards that stuck out to me, looking at them back again after all these years, and just some interesting comments and observations I have about the set. So, thank you for all the comments on my earlier videos on 81 and 80 Topps football and all the other videos I've put out so far. Thank you all for commenting, observing, liking, encouraging me as I go down this, I think 25 now plus video journey so far on this thing we call YouTube. So again, thanks for the likes. If you'd like to subscribe, I would be very much honored to have you subscriber. Any comments, questions, leave them in the comments. And again, look forward to kicking into 1982 Topps football. So again, there are some key rookies in the set, but 82 Topps for me, the set starts out with it's 528 cards. It's the last year the Topps did the 528 card total. They would go to 396 in 1983. So a lot more players probably got cut off or left on the chopping floor in terms of who got a card, who didn't get a card. But in 82, we had a full large set of cards, and each team probably had around 20 plus players showing. Many of them may have never had a card besides this. And again, fewer would as well in 1983 when the set went down by about 130 cards, give or take. So the set starts out with highlighting the prior Super Bowl. 1981 season had the 1982 Super Bowl between the Cincinnati Bengals and the 49ers. This was the 49ers' first Super Bowl win of the 80s, and the first couple cards highlight that. So we've got a highlight card from the Super Bowl itself. Bengals and 49ers there. Of course, Niners winning. Joe Montana's first Super Bowl win. And then two record breaker cards starting off the set. Both were Bengals. First is card number 1, Ken Anderson, most completions in a Super Bowl game. And then, I guess kind of related to that, Dan Ross, most receptions in a Super Bowl game. So kind of the QB throwing to the receiver there, highlighted on two cards. Unfortunately, the Bengals didn't win, but they got two record breaker cards out of the set. No Niners record breaker cards were shown in those first couple of cards there. Later on in the set, of course, like many other top sets, you have passing leaders, receiving leaders, sacks leaders, punts leaders, scoring leaders highlighted. And in the passing leaders section, card number 257, we've got the two Super Bowl quarterbacks, passing leaders, Joe Montana and Ken Anderson. So kind of coming full circle there with the Super Bowl teams on the passing leader cards. So like many sets of the day, it starts out with record breakers. And then in a little bit of a left turn from 81, while 81 had the same amount of cards as 82, 81 Topps and back to like 19, I think it was back to the late 60s, Topps kind of intermingled all the teams together. But in 82, all the teams were put in one section. So all the Colts cards were first, the Bengals cards next, and so on and so forth. And done alphabetically. We had Baltimore Colts, we had Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, so on and so forth, Denver Broncos, all the way down the line. AFC first in the set, despite not winning the Super Bowl, which is kind of interesting, but maybe A comes before N in terms of AFC, NFC, I'm not sure. And then in the NFC section, the Falcons kick it off, I think followed by my Chicago Bears, and so on and so forth. But let's get into the rookies. There are 2 or 3 key rookies in this set. These are all original ones I would have pulled from the sets when I was building them back in the late 80s. They've been in, plastic holders for all those years, never taken them out. They'll stay there, and they do remind me again of collecting back in those earlier days. First rookie to show off really is, again, Lawrence Taylor. Sorry for the glare, but again, just Lawrence Taylor rookie card, Hall of Fame defensive player for the Giants. And like 1981 and I think just 81, there were these in-action or super action cards in the set. And so luckily, some of these rookies and stars had in-action cards too. So Lawrence Taylor being a rookie, there's his in-action card for 1982. Speaking of Super Bowl teams, we have Ronnie Lott with his rookie card, Ronnie Lott out of USC. And again, Ronnie Lott also has an in-action card. Looks like he's maybe picked off a pass, scored a touchdown, or something of that nature. So there he is there. And again, even though we talked about Montana rookie card in 1981, I like his 82 Topps card too. Joe Montana, Super Bowl winning quarterback on the phone, on the sidelines, NFC All-Pro as well. And then a real in-action card here of Joe Montana about to run downfield or throw a pass. So really cool cards there too. Other rookies in the set include Anthony Munoz, Cincinnati Bengals. Again, I liked him because his name was Anthony. Mine's Tony, but again, kind of similar. So always had a nice spot for him in my collection. All-Pro there in the Super Bowl year for the Bengals, 81, but Super Bowl in 1982 in January. So those are the key rookies. There were some other rookies too there I didn't bring out, but again, those are the top few that came to my mind as well. Speaking of the Joe Montana card and him being on the phone, I tried to look for kind of funny, interesting cards. I found some in 81, found some in 1980 Topps, showed those off my prayer videos. Didn't have a lot that kind of caught my eye for some reason in 82. I'm not sure if the photography was different or they highlighted maybe more player action shots more so, but again, did find a similar communications card in 1982. 1982 Topps, Reggie Rucker. Looks like he's actually messing with something wired. Maybe it's a headset, it's a phone, it's something on the sidelines there. So kind of related to Montana's phone picture on his card. Just someone messing around on the sidelines there. Not playing, but with some technology from 1981. So that's a cool card there too. Now, last in my video, I did talk about the last couple of videos, I guess, how Earl Campbell was left off of all but the 1979 Topps football set. And because of that, it appears that when Topps did its, leaders cards, there were no rushing leader cards in 1981 or 1980, even though Campbell, I think, would have been on that card as the AFC leader. So again, that makes me wonder, 1981, what do they do? Well, 82 Topps, there is no rushing leader card again. Went online, of course, to find out what happened. I wasn't around watching football in 81, 82. George Rogers led the NFC in rushing from the Saints, and Earl Campbell led the AFC in rushing in 1981. So he would have been on a card if they had had those cards, but he wasn't. There was no card, and there is for another year in a row no rushing leaders card in a Topps football set. Similar to that point, Topps again still had team leader cards, and again, there is no rushing leader. It's funny, under the offense there, it has punt returns, which I guess is a kind of an offense if you think about where your offense starts. We have a punt returns leader there, where with other teams, they would have probably had their rushing leader. So kind of funny there again, no Earl Campbell for the Oilers as well. Regarding that too, I mentioned there are these in-action cards. I think they were called super action cards in 1981 Topps. So in-action cards, some of the teams had four, players with kind of parallel action cards. A few teams, and I'm probably not entirely complete in this, a few teams had none and thought that was kind of weird. So the Oilers actually, going back to this card, had no action cards. Other teams had four of them. Another one without any action cards was Washington in 81. They had a team leader. They had, 15-ish or so players. The last team in the set, given Washington, was their name. And NFC was last versus AFC. So they were the very last team in the set. They had no action cards either. But one of the teams had four. Maybe others had four too. I just noticed this team had four and pulled the four cards out. Not a fan, just noticed the team had four. But the 1982 Topps football, the New York Jets team had four action cards, where some teams, funny enough, had zero. And again, with the Oilers, I'm sure they would have loved to have had an Earl Campbell base card and action card, but again, for other reasons, gone into in some of the comments before. And thank you for the comments who you left comments on that video. Again, no Earl Campbell base or action cards. So about the Jets. Number 1 was a Mark Gastineau, number 99, in action card. Joe Klecko, again, another defensive player in action against the Buffalo Bills. Pat Leahy, there were definitely a few kicker cards and kicker action shots with, mid pose or setting up to kick or all the in between had an action shot there. And then their quarterback, Richard Todd, looks like running away from not LT in the picture, but maybe LT was on the field chasing him down as well. So again, the Jets with 4 in action cards. Another kind of quirk I noticed, again, we'll go back to the team cards here, nothing quirky per se about these, but it's funny on some of these cards where, you've got, at least in this case, you've got offense, you've got defense, you've got rushing, interceptions, sacks, and receiving. So, 4 basic statistics. Some of these guys didn't have cards in the 82 Tops football set. They were on the team card showing they led their team in a statistic. And this one just kind of caught my eye for the Broncos. You can see quarterback sacks, Rulon Jones led their team. Well, his rookie card is 1983 Tops. So he was the leader in sacks on the team, but didn't get a card in the actual set in 82 for some odd reason. So again, quirky little things. I'm sure there's other things like that in the set, but thought that was interesting because again, I do have his Tops card in 83 because I'll show off that 83 Top set probably in the next few weeks, just like I'm doing right now with 82. Next, kind of had a fun little insert in 82 it was called Football Brothers. So amazingly, and I don't know what the stats are on this, there were 8 cards showing 8 different sets of brothers playing in the NFL in 1981. I tried to think right now of the people I know in 2024 or even the last 20 years. I mean, how many brothers played in the NFL at the same time? I know the Barber brothers, Tiki and Rondé, played probably 15, 20 years ago, give or take. But there were 8 cards, 8 different sets of brothers played, and that's a cool insert set. And of course, me being a Bears fan, I didn't pull out all 8 of them. I pulled out just the one with Walter Payton on it. So you can see Walter Payton and then Eddie Payton. Eddie with the Vikings here in the picture, and then Walter, of course, with the Bears. So kind of funny. I would be curious the count of brothers that have played since that point, and maybe it was just kind of a weird stars aligning time where they found, yeah, let's throw in these extra 8 cards, round up the set to the 528 we're used to, and again, show kind of a 2-for-1 on those cards. Speaking of Peyton, again, I can't go without showing, of course, Walter Payton's base cards in the set. So we've got Walter Payton base here, 82 Tops, and then Walter Payton's in action. This, a lot of the Bears fans I've talked to or kind of seen commenting, this is one of their favorite Payton cards because of just him being horizontal in the air against the Buccaneers on this in action shot card. So very cool there. And on the back, it says Walter rushed for over 1,000 yards for the 6th consecutive season in 81. So definitely on his way to the rushing numbers he put up. And it says the very last sentence, Walter has rushed for 9,608 yards during his career. So just 400 cards short of 10,000 by 1981, which is pretty impressive. Last but not least, I've got a few cards that stood out just because of some of the quarterbacks on the cards in my other related collections. So, I collect unopened packs, unopened wax boxes, rack packs, things like that. In 82, excuse me, in 82 Tops football, the top of the wax box, and I don't own one. I used to own one. I wish I'd owned one now to kind of show off, but the top 82 Tops football wax box showed Joe Ferguson. He was the card on top of the box that kind of highlighted, advertised the box and the packs being sold at local card shops. So I always liked that card. This is the card here, 82 Tops Joe Ferguson. I also liked the combination of the helmet, the colors, the jersey, the red, white, and blue for the Bills back in this era. I never watched them when they wore this, but just like seeing them in hindsight, like the way that the uniform looked. So again, he was on the top of the box in 1982. And during the year, he had over 3,000 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, and he had 21,000 yards career to date by this time when his card came out. So cool there. we've got, nope, not John Elway. We've got the Denver Broncos, number 7, immediately before John Elway, Craig Morton. A few shots of him in 81, I think, 82, wearing number 7. Kind of makes you do a double take if you're used to seeing John Elway, of course, but kind of cool seeing that here. And the last card is 1982 Topps Brian Sipe. This one isn't per se all that special by itself, but this Brian Sipe card, I think I may have showed this in one of my earlier videos, this is not the card, but this is the card that I got in one of those early Scholastic Book Fair purchases that I made. I first got into the hobby of what are these things called football cards? Well, I got a pack of 5 or 10 cards back in 2nd grade. This card, not this exact, but this, again, this card was one of the ones I got. I remember specifically seeing number 17, holding the ball that way, the Browns. Had no idea who this guy was. He wasn't playing in the games I was watching when I got that Scholastic Book Fair package. But like just the pose, the picture, and just kind of reminds me of those first few cards that kind of got me going right now. So again, cool way to finish up there on that one there too. So that's my quick, brief review of 82 Topps Football. Again, there's lots of other cards I could have showed off, lots of other Hall of Famers, action shots, things like that. But part of this has been cool for me is going through old binders of cards I haven't looked at page by page in 30 some years. So random memories pop up, kind of quirky insights, quirky patterns pop up. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. We'll be doing 1983 Topps Football probably next few weeks at some point, just given the holidays coming up. Not sure when that may come out, but again, looking forward to having 396 cards to look through, not 528, but we'll get to that here shortly. So again, thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, and look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.